In class, we analyzed Primavera as a marriage piece. It is also certainly possible that Botticelli's Primavera is a visual celebration of the natural phenomena of spring, a poem of symbols, if you will. Place your hands in soil to feel grounded. Wade in water to feel emotionally healed. Fill your lungs with fresh air to feel mentally clear. Raise your face to the heat of the sun and connect to your own power to feel that power. When I came across this quote, I thought of astrology, just as I did when I first viewed Primavera. Astrology is the study and active celebration of the balance between life on earth and the heavens above. Whether you view it as a myth or something more, it is like an epic we wrote together over thousands of years. In modern astrological symbolism, Mercury rules over Gemini, the sign of late May through June. Venus rules Taurus, the sign of late April through May. In Renaissance times, Mercury was arguably the god of spring, the springtime manifestation of the sun. He is closely related to the other spring deities of the Roman farmers' calendar, Venus, Flora, Florus, and Zephyr. These deities are all present in Primavera from left to right. Zephyr, furthest right, is the genitalius spiritus mundi, the generative spirit of the world. The constant cycle of nature restarts every year with his breath. In astrology, Aries is the sign of late March through April and the first on the zodiac circle. It is accredited to the beginning of spring and the spark that started it all. It is, of course, followed by Taurus and Gemini. Chloris, looking back at Zephyr, has flowers growing from her mouth. These direct the viewer to the characteristic eruption of flowers that is Flora. Presumably, Venus is at the center with the freshly grown forest parting for her. She is the height of spring. The tilt of her head and hand direct the viewer to Mercury, the transition from spring to summer. The Graces are often portrayed with Venus, as, of course, is Cupid. Interestingly, though, the composition places the succeeding characters from right to left, instead of the left to right we would expect. However, the constellations of the zodiac move opposite in the direction of the Earth. Now consider this excerpt from the 14th century European poem Petrarch's Rhyme. When the planet that marks the hours comes back to lodge with the bull, power falls from his inflamed horns to vest the world in new color, and not only decks with flowers what opens up around us, the banks and the slopes, but inside, where it has never been day, it impregnates the earthly liquid. It is from here that this and similar crops are called. The constellation of the bull is the home of the zodiac sign Taurus, again the sign of late April through May. This could account for the pregnancies of Flora and Venus in Primavera. Venus is not necessarily the central character. She may have only been a minor moon goddess in Renaissance times. She was usually portrayed as ethereal, so it would have been abnormal to see her pregnant. Another possible contender for the central character also supports the theme of the Primavera as a visual celebration of nature. She may be Isis, the goddess of nature. An influential Renaissance humanist, Lucius Apuleius, wrote an allegorical description of the goddess. She identifies herself to him with I am nature, the universal mother, mistress of all the elements, primordial child of time, sovereign of all things spiritual, queen of the sea, queen also of the immortals, the single manifestation of all gods and goddesses that are. Apuleius' description of Isis draws similarities to Primavera, her robe in particular. Her many-colored robe was of the finest linen. Part was glistening white, part crocus yellow, part glowing red, and along the entire hem a woven border of flowers and fruit clung, swaying in the breeze. But what caught and held my eye more than anything else was the deep black luster of her mantle. She wore it slung across her body from the right hip to the left shoulder, but part of it hung in innumerable folds. It was embroidered with glittering stars on the hem and everywhere else, and in the middle beamed a full and fiery moon. Isis's homage to the snake may be portrayed in the snake-like tassels around her chest. The central figure appears in front of the halo of the moon. Isis is the moon goddess. The crescent moon, enclosing a rectangular shape on the central figure's chest, is a symbol of Isis pregnant with Horus. It reflects and includes the light of the sun, appearing gold. The universal mother, nature, as she is pictured here, may be pregnant by the sun's masculine light. The source of light faces the central character directly. The original owner and commissioner of the piece is long debated, just as the theme has been. I will focus on Lorenzo di Pierfrancesco, whose house in Florence may have been the painting's original location. Ficino was a spiritual mentor for the boy. His belief in astrology is known. The roots of Renaissance Neoplatonism have been demonstrated, according to Francis A. Yates, as Hermetic, involving a view of the cosmos as a nature of magical forces with which man can operate. Ficino was a humanist, but astrology predates humanism and is still included in the letter he wrote to Lorenzo in the winter of 1477 through 1478, the same time Primavera was commissioned. My immense love for you, excellent Lorenzo, has long prompted me to make you an immense present. For anyone who contemplates the heavens, nothing he sets his eyes upon seems immense, but the heavens themselves. If, therefore, I make you a present of the heavens themselves, what would be its price? But I would rather not talk of the price, for love, born from the graces, gives and accepts everything gratis, nor indeed can anything under the heavens fairly balance against heaven itself. Your Luna, the continuous motion of your soul and body, should avoid the excessive speed of Mars and Saturn. Furthermore, this Luna that is within you should continuously behold the sun that is God himself. Your Luna should also behold Jupiter. She should also direct her gaze on Mercury. Finally, she should fix her eyes on Venus herself, that is to say, humanity. Lorenzo was probably 14 or 15 and coming of age accordingly at this time. While the inclusion of Isis doesn't fit as nicely into the idea of astrology as we understand it today, she would be the perfect one to guide the adolescent, or any patron, through his starry fate. She looks directly at the viewer as if he is the one she's addressing. The painting was hung over the Letusio, a piece of furniture, probably placing it directly at eye level. The distinct background and foreground of the piece certainly stands out. Most early Renaissance artists strive to implement the impression of realistic space. There is no atmospheric perspective in Primavera. It is reminiscent of Byzantine divine art. The halo visible behind the central figure is also reminiscent of Byzantine divine art. Though there are no traditional religious figures, as in those we recognize institutionally today, Botticelli might have been using this to signify an ancient deity, one surrounded by her peers. Just like the birth of Venus, Primavera may also be a depiction of an age-old tale, the blossoming spring on Earth and in the cosmos. I've given you a different look at the elusive Primavera. I hope my relation of it to astrology has allowed you the perspective of viewing it as the divine poetry I immediately did. I also hope these ASMR triggers have relaxed you, as they relax me all the time. To me, divinity is apparent in nature, and ASMR is a soothing poetry. There are many other ASMR videos out there if it is a sensation you enjoy. Thank you.